Delta was enhanced with the same godlike cells as her other peers in the KAR organization. She has fought in battles that we've seen on screen, and yet when we talk about divine power that is being wielded by characters in Boruto, all too often when it comes to Naruto fans who are reading this series, she has been forgotten, overshadowed, left behind by her very peers in KAR. But here's the thing. When you have the DNA of a god inside of you, irrelevance is just a pause. It's not a destiny. It's a fleeting moment in a much longer story. Delta, so far, is the last remaining KAR cyborg who is not awakened a Shinjutsu. But if recent revelations about Kashin Koji are any indication, I strongly believe that's not going to stay true for long. And when her power finally erupts, it might very well be one of the most broken out of all the KAR inners who have access to Shibai Otsutsuki Shinjutsu. Join me in today's newest Naruto Explained video where your OBC, your original Boruto chief, breaks down for you why Delta awakening a Shinjutsu isn't a matter of if, but potentially a matter of when, between herself or even the new clone of Akibi that Amado is preparing for Kawaki's Coma Seal. And you'll want to strap in if you're an OG sub and you remember the video I did several years ago about how the KAR inner members each have tech puns when it comes to their names and powers, as well as the fact that there is a pun with Delta's name that might very well have a connection to omnipotence that Ada uses, and explain even further why Delta appears to be an even bigger simp for Ada than anyone has been displayed in the series itself. So let's go right into it with the origins of Shinjutsu and the KAR organization. So make no mistake, Amado was building a group of very terrifying individuals. Everyone who he experimented on, from clones like Delta and Kashin Koji to unwilling humans like Boro, Victor, Ada, Damon, Code, Boro. Kashin Koji made something very clear in this chapter. Every KAR inner member, according to him in chapter 13, was enhanced using the cells of Shibai Otsutsuki, a godlike being who transcended death by discarding his physical body. Those cells, they held a blueprint to Shinjutsu, god-tier techniques that go beyond ninjutsu and anything we've seen in the Naruto world before this. As Kashin Koji said it, the aim was to bring forth one of the divine techniques that he mastered, although whether or not we could effectively gain the power was a matter of luck. And by that sheer luck, or rather by narrative design, some of them hit the jackpot. Code gained the claw marks, Damon gained the reflection ability, Ada gained omnipotence and the Senrigan. But others like Boro, Delta, and Kashin Koji himself, they walked away empty-handed, or so it seemed, because Kashin Koji, he had a surprise delayed awakening that proves it's not over. That was a game changer. Koji, a man who once admitted that he did not awaken a Shinjutsu prior to this, has now awakened 10 Directions, a divine ability that allows him to see and perceive multiple potential timelines. This confirms something crucial. Shinjutsu can awaken later, especially under extreme physical or emotional stress, much like how we see with, say, some dojutsu. Koji, cornered on the edge of death during his fight with Ishiki, became a vessel for destiny when you think about it, and his divine ability didn't awaken until long after Ishiki thought, like, I got this guy pinned down, I'm gonna be able to kill him. And in that time that Koji was sitting there watching Ishiki, he was really seeing multiple possible futures. This is gonna bring us to Delta, the only one left from that initial batch who has not awakened her divine technique. Obviously, I'm not counting Boro because Boro is dead. So Delta being the last one standing, it is pretty significant. Delta's build is very identical to Koji. Both are clones, both are enhanced with high-level ninja tech, both have Shibai cells, and both are cyborgs that Amado experimented on, and both are extremely powerful. She was clearly one of Amado's favorites for obvious reason. Even Kawaki admitted that her battle capabilities were insane, and it took Naruto going into 6-path Sage mode with the chakra cloak cut on in order to neutralize her. Yes, Naruto held back using the Rasengan, but in Taijutsu, Naruto was going all out, especially after Himawari was almost killed. Naruto stopped holding back in taijutsu, then he switched to another strategy because he was getting exhausted. Because let's be real for a second, right? Like, Delta had that boy huffing and puffing and exhausted like the night that Naruto and Hinata made Boruto, and Hinata was throwing that thing back on Naruto and he couldn't handle it. But here's the thing, Delta, she's been quiet ever since then. She's been shown loyal to Konoha, regulated to basically minor roles. That silence, in my opinion, it is narrative tension. It is a calm before the storm. We are purposely not viewing her as anything other than being a sometimey hormonal bitch and other times being a simp for Ada. With Koji's surprise awakening now canon, there's no logical reason to assume that Delta won't awaken a Shinjutsu too, especially if she is placed in a life or death battle. And given the rising stakes with Jura, Hidari, and Code, her time, it might be coming at last. The potential of her Shinjutsu is huge. So imagine this, Delta in base is already pretty cracked when you think about her hacks. She's able to regenerate from wounds instantaneously, she can extend limbs, and she can fire off lasers that can bypass even a Jinchuriki's healing factor. But what happens when you give that same body a additional divine power? So there's a few possibilities. You could have a divine upgrade to her energy beams, turning them into conceptual erasers that destroy chakra and space itself. She might gain like a hacking type Shinjutsu, allowing her to override or copy other ninja tech, essentially becoming a living countermeasure to Code and Damon and etc. But that's not what we're gonna focus on. That's more for the power scalers that want to go beep beep boop boop. In the words of Dipset, they could be doing like the computer's computing, bootly booting, carry the two, mountains, swinging, bussing, etc. Like, let them have fun with that stuff, because I don't think that her Shinjutsu is going to be something that is battle assisted. But the idea of a battlefield hacks, not just because she's strong, but because of her Shinjutsu, it could make her unpredictable, adaptive, and completely broken depending on how she's written. And Boruto is a sequel to one of the biggest battle shonen of all time, so it's not crazy to suggest that she should have a battlefield hacks with Shinjutsu. But I think that she's gonna go the route of Kashin Koji and Ada, something that is more of a support type Shinjutsu. So the reason why this makes sense narratively is Delta has been kept around for a reason. Unlike Boro, she wasn't destroyed or discarded. She's still a Konoha asset, and she's one of the few Kara remnants who knows Amado's original designs inside and out. Koji already proved the no Shinjutsu status is not permanent. It's just dormant, waiting to unlock. Delta's awakening, it could be the final phase of Amado's experiment that he tried so many years ago. One that only activates under severe biological stress or emotional provocation, both of which are likely in the chaos brewing ahead. So could she become the unexpected trump card that Konoha needs in this war against the Otsutsuki remnants? I think we honestly have to consider the possibility. In doing so, Delta goes from being a forgotten relic to a divine warrior, and it should be worth noting that even if Koji didn't see this in potential future possibilities, it should be worth noting that Boruto's changed the timeline by telling Kawaki to get his limiters removed. So this is a possibility that you can now kind of point to and say Koji didn't see this before, but this might be something that's coming in a later timeline because of the branch changes that have occurred. Now, with Delta's Divine Awakening, what you're really here for, I think that this is a support type Shinjutsu, and it's because of the Japanese folklore and the tech inspiration. So Delta is more than just a clone of Amado's dead daughter who's been enhanced with ninja tech. Her very name Delta is loaded with symbolic power and technology. Delta refers to delta encoding. That is the process of recording the differences between data states. It's about change, how one version shifts from the other. In Greek, delta also represents 3, the triangle often used to signify transformation or synthesis. That could be a key to understanding what a potential delta Shinjutsu might look like. So the tech-inspired Shinjutsu would basically be grounded in rewrite, I want you to think about a glitching code. The people that understand tech know what I mean by that. But basically, when you have a glitch, you recalibrate. When you draw on her name and the fact that she's a cyborg, a clone cyborg, Delta could awaken a Shinjutsu that has something to do with rewriting, a divine technique that allows her to overwrite or revert matter and chakra back to previous states. Think of it like a biological rollback, erasing an opponent's injury, healing, or potentially chakra boost. Also a defensive adaptation, restoring her body from any condition instantly, like regenerating even after total destruction, or even a conceptual attack, turning someone back from their pre-powered version, potentially giving Boruto what he was looking for. Boruto and Kawaki wanted a way to free each other of the power of karma. That could be something used for that, because that follows Delta encoding, basically deleting karma and the enhancements from their reality themselves. However, I want to take it a step further, and I want to look at Shintoism, because one thing that we've seen repeatedly is that Ikimoto has referenced a lot of stuff with Amaterasu, and I do think that there is something here with Amaterasu. In Shinto mythology, the Yada no Kagami, basically the Yada mirror, as you guys know from Naruto, is the sacred mirror of Amaterasu, the sun goddess. It represents truth, reflection, and judgment, showing the heart of whoever looks into it. Delta's beams, which already vaporize on a cellular level, could evolve into a Shinjutsu, a divine judgment inspired by this mirror. Amaterasu's judgment, if that is an inspiration for this, it could allow Delta to see and reflect the true nature of her enemy, like guilt, hatred, deception, or weaponize that essence against them. Fire a light that judges, not just destroys, specifically eradicating those who act with evil intent. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it, like the way that her ninja tech already works operates on a similar level. She's able to absorb and fire back, which is just like what you have with the Yada mirror being able to reflect. So that might be out the question, which is why I don't think it's going to be offensive. Though I will say this, Ikimoto is a very big Dragon Ball fan. If you are familiar with one of Fortune Teller Baba's fighters in the manga, they have a technique that is very similar to that. Basically, devil man who has the devil might beam. You also have the mirror aspect that would allow for binding and disabling divine powers, revealing the truth behind them. Much like how the Yada mirror, when Itachi had it, when you fired ninjutsu off at it, it just immediately reverted to the superior chakra nature. So if you fired a fire release, it would immediately revert to water release according to the data book, because it basically changes chakra properties to cancel out whatever's being fired at it. That will beautifully tie into her role as a clone of Amato's daughter, a cyborg enhanced by Amato, a being created not from a natural birth, but technology attempting to preserve love, identity, and soul. Just as Amaterasu emerged from the cave to shine her light on a darkened world, Delta could shine her divine wrath onto the new darkness that is rising with the Ten Tails. But this is where we have omnipotence to look at. Using that same stuff and combining Shinto with Delta encoding, the ability to rewrite fate is something you have to look at. Omnipotence turns the desire of the caster into reality. And as we've seen, even with the Senrigan, there are powers with Shibai that have more than one side to them. The Senrigan sees the present and the past. The idea of there being a way to rewrite omnipotent using a Delta Shinjutsu, that would explain a lot. That is one possible outcome. I think it's personally too broken, but I do see some parallels with Dragon Ball here, and Ikimoto's admitted he borrows a lot from Dragon Ball. Delta's divine awakening, I don't think it's just speculation. The only thing that is speculative is what the power itself might be. It's the final piece in the puzzle that was laid out years ago in universe. The hidden genetics of a god, waiting for the right spark to ignite it. She's like a time bomb that is made with Shibai cells, and when she goes off, nobody's going to see it coming. The real question again is, what kind of Shinjutsu will she awaken? Will it be battle focused, or will it be something that's more of a support role? Let me know down in the comment section below, and in the meantime, click here to check out more Naruto Explained videos, or click here to check out videos from my other two anime channels.